Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Anthony, CH Melchett, and tonight we're gonna be talking about how to use the most powerful weapon in Rising Storm 2, Vietnam. And you might be thinking, hey, what is the most powerful weapon? Is it the AKM? What is it? No, it is actually the force respawn ability of the Northern Commander. It is probably the least known and actually least appreciated ability of the Northern team. Many a times when I see people use the force respawn ability as the Northern team, I see them sneak up to the front of the cap or just run up or even force respawn a lot of people back at main spawn. And I feel like this is a waste of a great potential. If you look at how the Northern faction is built up, it is built up around guerrilla-style tactics or more loosely based tactics, whereupon if you look at the South with their superior firepower, the napalm strike, everything that goes along with the American style of fighting, it shows you very quickly that the Northern team cannot and will never be able to stand up against that kind of firepower. And you will often see when a Northern team is attacking a Southern team defending, that the Northern team runs into quite a significant slaughter fest. On maps like Firebase Georgina, you will often get stuck, especially on the C point, and get bombed because of the ability of the Americans to put down so much firepower. And that is why during the course of this game's lifetime, you know me, I've always been working on these kind of special tactics. I will always love going up behind as a squad leader in all the games that you pretty much seen. Also in Red Orchestra. So what I've kind of come up with here is a way to use the force respawn ability kind of differently. So the kind of thing you're gonna be seeing here in this video, what I'm gonna try and show you is different ways of using it. Different ways of using the force respawn ability, not as something where when I have enough people dead, I force them in the main spawn, but actually where I'm able to sneak up behind enemy lines, and as my own team is, for example, capping an A point, I'm standing by at the B point, ready to cap it. So this means that we are able to turn the tables on the enemies. We're able to actually do what I call a power cap. So we cap a point very, very quickly and keep them off balance. And in that sense, we're able to push them. So you're going to be seeing some different examples here on where you're actually able to turn the tables on the enemy, and by capping one point, you're instantly ready to cap the next one. This demands a lot of cooperation from your own team. They need to be willing to, as I actually say in the video, they need to be able to kill themselves or able to not respawn, wait when I call it out. They need to wait to respawn, and that's why tripwire, of course, it's very important that the voice communication works in the game. So get that fixed, please. As I see it, the most important thing to get from a team when you have this kind of playstyle is the willingness to work with you as commander. So it really doesn't work if the team is not willing to push. So you really need a team that have this aggressive mindset. And I hope when you guys are watching this and then go out and play as a team, that you will help your commander out when he does stuff like this, that you're actually willing to stop. This is not about getting spawned in close to the point and then just stand around and shoot at shit. It's actually about when you get spawned in, it's about pushing the objective. And most of all, let's say that we cap A point, I have snuck up and spawn people into cap B point, that the people that spawn in get in, power cap B point, but then as well is ready to push C point very quickly. Because as you see, this force respawn ability is only ready every 1 minute 30 seconds, every 2 minutes, depending on the map. So it's not something that you can do all the time, but it's so important that the team is willing to keep the momentum going. And this is a very controversial tactic. Some people call it cheap, and I know some people have started using it as well as the Northern Commander, but when I started doing it, and I'm not saying I was the first guy, but when I started using it, I didn't see people using it like that before. And some people have started doing it, and some people is calling it like a cheesy tactic and all that stuff, but nobody would ever call it that the Americans are using napalm for a cheeky tactic. So you need to use the abilities given to you, and you need to be able to play the team as it is. That is in your own advantage. So just keep this in mind, that you might catch some flack from doing this. So after this short introduction to all of it, let's get straight into the first clip. The first example we're going to look at here comes out of Firebase Georgina, where we are attacking, of course, as the north, and here we go. So the point we're going to be looking at here is what we do at point F, not at E, as you see here. What's happening right here is that we are attacking Echo, and people are getting very tough for getting in there. And what you can see now is that I'm dropping artillery up at the top left-hand corner of the map. What that does is that with the northern artillery being, and this is of course Parvin, it's not the VC, so what this does is it puts out a decent spread, like a Red Orchestra type artillery strike in there that is able to clear the top left-hand side of the map. And what you're going to be seeing is, look at it here, I am pushing out on the left-hand flank here. In the meantime, I'm encouraging the rest of the team to attack. So here on this, the timing is crucial. So I am looking at the people here. We got AA up, we got everything up. So I'm going to be sprinting up the side. And what is the most important here is the combination of having the AA up and having artillery dropping. So there we go. Now it's capped, and what happens is I start really encouraging people to die or kill themselves. And you guys may be why, hey, you're doing what? You're telling people to kill themselves. I'm at least telling people to make sure not to respawn. And I'm also saying, hey, you need to be dead right now. Because what this does is it makes me able to spawn people in. And you look here, we got a ridiculous amount of people right there in the spawn queue, and boom, people are spawned in. So here comes the crucial part. It is very important here that you actually push all the way in. And the reason why I chose the left-hand side here is that the Americans have their spawn at the gate on the right-hand side of the cap. So you see we're going to be pushing all the way in. And very important here is not to stop at the edge of the cap zone. It's very, very important that you try and push all the way in, as steep in as you can get into the cap. And I always go back there and put down an arty mark. So right here, it's all about staying alive. It's all about making enough room so people can get into the cap. And as you can see here, you can actually hear the Americans being very, very confused about what's going on. And there I get killed by the guy on the other side of the wall. And lo and behold, we are going to cap that in record time. So that is always very interesting when you do it like that, and it's high risk, high reward type of situation. So let's jump on to the next one. Next example here is B point on Quang 3. So a lot of people have really a lot of trouble actually getting past A on Quang 3 when attacking as the north. But as you see here, I have moved up on the far right-hand flank, and I'm actually keeping an eye on if the team is capping. And as you see there, the RT is almost ready. The AA is almost ready. So I'm actually waiting here to see. Look at the map as you see it right here. You can actually see that people are starting to move on the far left flank. One thing that is so important on this map is that you get your tunnels out far left, far right, and the middle. If you try, or if you let the enemy get control of the far left-hand flank from our perspective here, they're gonna start to do enfilade fire of the on the front road, and that means they're just gonna mow you down. So it's very important that you get out of the flank. So here we see they're actually starting to cap A, and I'm somewhat keeping an eye on how far are they. I see that I'm pressing T, so I can see how far they are in A. So now I'm gonna keep an eye out. And I see there that we're actually starting to cap, so I'm going to be moving up and trying to sneak up. The reason why I'm using the right-hand flank, and there should be a guy, yeah. So the reason why I'm keeping an eye on the, I'm using the far right-hand flank is that it's a lot easier with the spawns and all. So you see here, I am starting to call out that people should hold their spawn. So we're going up there. The reason why I haven't been up there already is that I need to be ready to support. If we can cap A, I need to be ready with the artillery. But you see here, I'm going in, and just before we get into the point itself, I just press N and we spawn people in. So if I would have waited until I gotten in, I might not have been able to spawn as many people because of the walls and stuff. So that's a very important lesson here. You need to make sure that there's room enough for you to spawn people in. I put down the arty mark, and we try and keep an eye, and there comes the enemy team desperately trying to fall back here. But as you see here, we're pretty much dominating it. I'm gonna instantly like put up AA to protect the point here if they get a quick napalm strike in or something like that. So we pop the AA, and then we pretty much just wait. And now it's all about pushing up to the next point. Example number 3 here is C point on Firebase Georgina. This is a very difficult point, especially for the VC, not as much for the American, but if you're attacking as the VC and the Americans get control of the flank, you can easily get mown down because of the superior firepower the Americans have with their commander abilities. But right here, you see us attacking as the VC. Right now, I got a good RT mark, a pretty close RT mark. So what I'm going to be doing first here is, hey, I know we need to have enough pressure. So I need to have people to be able to spawn in. So I activate the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And that makes sure that we get people in faster. We reduce the spawn time. And that's a very important ability. Then I'm going to be calling in the artillery. And what this artillery call in is going to do is it's going to try and clear off the backside of the objective. And we're going to follow me here. So the reason why I'm down here in the underground is there's a lot of people that don't know, both with the defense team and the offensive team, don't know that you can actually, as the VC, have a big advantage down here because you can use your main weapon down here. The Americans can't use their main weapon. So right here, I'm actually moving in. As the VC, I'm using this tunnel. So I can really get close to the objective here. And what it's doing in the meantime here, you see, actually when you watch as the commander, I always try and watch the kill feed here to actually see what's going on, who's winning the gunfights. And you see here the Americans are actually also calling down artillery. And I can see my kills start coming in now. So I'm going to be moving up here, going to be very careful. There can still be Americans in the tunnel here. So right there is the exit. So right now I'm standing by, checking the time here, checking the RT. And this is always a timing issue. So when do you want to run up? And there is the call. I call out for people. I see there's plenty of smoke. So we're going to be standing by. And that's where you need to be able to communicate with your team. Hey, people need to not spawn. And there we go. We get in there and get into the open. And you pop the ability. And there we go. So right there, and I always push over to this corner here to try and get some cover, and you see people streaming in. And that's a very important thing when you do something like that, or if you experience your commander doing this, that you're actually moving. And remember, you can actually shoot through the walls, but very important that you actually push into the objective. Otherwise, this tactic doesn't work if you don't actually push in. And remember, you can always take out the left or the right flank or the tunnel. It doesn't matter. It depends on what the defense is watching for. So we've gotten here to example number 4. That is the remastered RS1 map Dong Ha. And what you're going to be seeing here is like Dong Ha has a bunker echo point, which is very, very difficult to get if the enemy gets set up inside of it. And a lot of you guys will have imagined that, or will have tried that, it getting stuck and the team actually not able to take it. And then you have to fight her for a very long time, and you risk bleeding your tickets because the enemy team can hide inside the bunker, and that's going to be a problem for you. So what you see here is I'm going to be sneaking up. I'm going to try and get in there. I make a mistake by shooting at that guy, but I try and get in there. And as you see here, I'm actually in the bunker before the enemy has fallen back. And this is one of the notions that in this tactic with the power plays here, move up quickly. I always tell it to people that, hey, you need to be moving up very, very quickly and get into the face of the enemy. And then you're going to be able to get a lot more results using the force respawns. So you see here, I am actually taking down some of these guys, defending myself as much as I can and waiting. And here I'm keep on watching the map. You see here, I'm watching the map to see how many people are dead. I know that I'm going to be ready with the force respawn here. And you're going to be seeing that here is the call, and I call out for people, and you can actually hear the enemy is hearing me upstairs. And there I go, I force spawn everybody in, and you see there we're all over the point, and it's quite effective, and you know it's gonna work out great, and we're gonna be able to snag the point here. And this is just something I want you to know, that by actually taking the initiative and being quite aggressive on the point, you can really get up there and get quite good results. And it's something, if the enemy is aware of it and is watching, it's gonna be difficult, but if you're able to sneak in there, you're gonna be able to have great results. And yeah, So let's move on. So we have reached the final clip here. I really hope that you guys are still watching because this is a really interesting one. So what happens here is you see that we are capping C and D on Hill. Hill is a very special map because when you're attacking as the North there, and if you don't take Echo, the last point, fast, you're gonna be noticed that the Americans are gonna be able to set up squad leaders down in the tunnel and just call an eternal stream of napalm and shit down on top of your head. So what happens here is we cap C and D, and at this point I have already snuck up behind. So right here you're gonna be hearing me. If you can hear it, I'm calling out for people to die, people to kill themselves, and that must sound strange, but as we talked about before, I just need people in. So you see here, if you notice, there's 16 people. Boom, I spawn in 16 people, and all of a sudden we're all up in the face, and I'm gonna be trying to suppress, and I'm gonna trying to hold back the Americans for as long as possible. And if you notice down the screen there, people are streaming in. So I make sure to get down on the underground here, and I'm standing by. And this is what's gonna come up here is quite retarded on my part. That I you know it's just stupid. Going for that gun, I should just hold my corner. But as you can see here, we actually have enough people in there, and we managed to cap it. So yeah, that you know, that is quite interesting, and you know, it's really enjoyable. So after sitting through my little demonstrations here, I hope you guys still have the energy to go try out these stuff and try your hands on the most powerful weapon in RS2. And I really hope that you found it, you know, enjoyable and you learned something. And really, if there's a few things you take away from this, it is timing is important. It's important to be on the same wavelength with your team. If you're going to be using this ability, you know, at any reasonable rate, not just to burn tickets, you need to be on the same wavelength as your team. So you need to explain to your team what you're doing, so that all of a sudden people don't just spawn into the cap zones with enemies all around them and have no idea what's going on. You need to be patient. It's not just about just running straight into the point and actually just spawning people. It's about the timing. And always, guys, try and think out of the box. If you've done the same thing 5 times, don't just do it all again. People are gonna start noticing patterns. When I play as the commander, I've started seeing people actually predicting what I'm going to do and actually start, because as you see here, you can easily just send a rifleman out on one of the flanks and stop a commander from doing this. So that's pretty easy, and this kind of tactic can work on all maps, on all points. You can always just sneak your way in and do a quick power cap. So just be aware of it. And when you are defending, guys, just keep your eye out for this stuff. And a couple of final things. One thing that I really think is a shame is if you look at the points, if you try and do this as the commander, you almost earn no points from actually spawning people in, and it's a high risk, high reward type of thing. So I think personally that if you would have been spawning people in, that you as the commander should be given quite a few more points, you know, as a reward from doing this. And that's just one thing that bothers me sometimes with this, that, you know, you should be given a few more hat points to actually show the kind of effect you've been having on the team. And then the absolute final thing is, when you get this going, guys, if you get a momentum going, don't just stop. It's always about, if you're doing this kind of aggressive tactics, keep the momentum going of the team, keep moving forward, and just keep up the pressure. So yeah, with those final words, I would really like to know what you guys are thinking. So, you know, please give the video a like or a dislike, and let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Is this something you're using? Have you tried this? If you played against me on the opposite team, have you tried experiencing when this has been done? And what are your experiences with this? And I'm really exciting to listen to you guys and hear what you have to say. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.